Anthony Castrovince joins us, MLB.com senior writer, to give us some of his first month superlatives. Anthony, good to see you. Let's start with the game changers. Who is a big game changer that stood out to you so far this year?
You just showed Pete Crow Armstrong, and he came to mind when I saw this question. But I kind of had an inkling he might pop based off his second half last year. The guy that I fully admit I did not see coming was Jung-Hoo Lee of the Giants, the grandson of the wind. I mean, he has totally outperformed my expectations for him. We didn't see much of him last year before that bad injury cut short his season. But the way he's barreling the ball, I mean, this guy was came over from Korea, promised to be a high contact type, but he's slugging almost 700 on breaking balls. He's in the top 20 in MLB in slugging percentage overall. That's just not something I expected. I don't know if it's something the Giants expected either, quite frankly, but he's also good in the field. He's good in the base pass. He might be the superstar they've long sought.
Yeah, you're not alone in being surprised by that one. In fact, if you weren't surprised by that, you're either a liar or you're JP Morosi, because JP thought it was coming for him. He was on him from the start. Give us your most exciting first-year player so far, Anthony.
Well, the guy who's just kind of swept into our lives in the last week to 10 days is Chandler Simpson of the Rays. I think Christian Campbell, the Red Sox, would probably be your American League Rookie of the Year as of now. But Simpson, what he's doing, I mean, we knew he was an electric player, but to do it immediately on this stage is really impressive. We heard things about him in the minor leagues, getting to first base, a single on a one-hopper to first base. He has that kind of speed. He had more than 100 steals in the minors last year. But, this is not a Billy Hamilton type. I mean, this guy is getting on base. He's getting on base like 45% of the time in his first 8 games, and they're 6-2 with him. So he's also doing it defensively. Robbed Manny Machado of a homer over the weekend.
So I want to get back to this, unrehearsed. Do you think Christian Campbell would be the Rookie of the Year if we gave that out after a month? What about Jacob Wilson in Oakland?
That's a good one, too. I mean, he finally drew a walk, so that's good. But I don't know, man. Hey, every year we seem to have this conversation. We're just kind of loaded with young talent,
right.
So it'll be a fun one all year.
No, it's going to be fun to watch, yeah. How about the most pleasant surprise? Maybe someplace that you weren't expecting the kind of results, not counting the grandson of the wind, who you've already identified.
Yeah, I mean, his Giants would qualify here, but since we already kind of discussed that, how about the Mariners' offense? Especially in the last 2 weeks, they've led MLB in homers over the last 2 weeks. And, it's weird that the Mariners right now, they got to first place despite a lot of pitching injuries. That's the strength of their club. It's what carried them last year, almost carried them in the playoffs despite a lackluster offense. And right now the offense is the thing carrying them, which is very surprising. They are second in weighted runs created plus, behind only the Yankees. And that is an important stat because, of course, they play in this ballpark that truly suppresses offense. So that's a good way to look at what the Mariners have done. And they really haven't – that's without Julio Rodriguez really, catching fire yet.
So I'm going to ask you this one and then make a guess as to what you're going to say. And you feel free to tell me immediately if I'm wrong or not. Storyline we'll look back at in September and laugh about. Is it going to be torpedo bats?
I thought about putting that here because I think we've already seen that die down a bit from the conversation that was going on the first week where everyone's talking about this as some kind of magic bat and a guaranteed hit. So that'll probably be one. And the other one for me is just the Dodgers in the NL West. I do think the NL West is a strong division. Are we going to have 4 teams with like a 600-something winning percentage at the end of the year? Probably not. The Dodgers have not played their best baseball of late. I think the Giants have, played their butts off so far, and the Dodgers were a half game behind them coming into tonight. So I still think that the Dodgers' depth is going to rule the day here in the NL West. I don't think it's their lack of dominance so far doesn't really trouble me. They've had to put 13 pitchers on the IL. That's probably not even surprising, but they got a lot of Marlins on the docket in the next week or so. So even in the coming days, it could change a lot.
Yeah, it's like 6 or rather 9 of their next 12 against Pittsburgh and Miami. No offense to Pittsburgh and Miami. How about the best player flying under the radar at this point in the season?
I don't know. It's always hard to measure such a thing, but for me, it's Spencer Torkelson of the Tigers. It's funny because this guy was drafted 5 years ago, #1 overall pick in 2020. And we tend to judge players very quickly in today's game. It used to be, you're drafted #1 overall, and it's like, see you in 5 years. Now it's, what have you done for me in those 5 years? And he hit 31 home runs 2 years ago. and was kind of cast aside coming into spring training this year, but had a great spring, and he's had a great start to the season for them. So, you saw Riley Green is starting to heat up, but Torque has really carried that offense, making better swing decisions, and he's got big power, and it changed their offense a great deal.
Cavs beat the Heat 138-83 today in an unrelated topic.
Most lopsided playoff series in NBA history, from what I understand. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's just how we do things in Cleveland.
I was going to say, I'm glad you tied it back to your homeland. Anthony Castrovince, appreciate the contribution today, man. Thanks.